Hi, I'm Steve Anderson, and you're listening to Story Flakes. In this story, you'll meet Dan Paul, systems programmer by day, has a wife, 2 kids, dogs, cats, loves building campfires in the backyard. He's one of the most laid-back people you'll ever meet. And when you talk to him, you get the sense that he's figured it out. You know, what's important in life. Dialed in to what it takes to be happy. So I asked him how he came to that. And what he told me was that an incident had happened that changed his life. Here's Dan Paul.
The story was 5/5/2000. So this is the date that Nostradamus predicted the world would end. If you remember that, is a little blurb in the news. There's been a lot of end of the world predictions, so I'd like to celebrate all of them. So the idea was that we'd have a party, we'd camp out at Morgan's Canoe rental and campground, close to Cincinnati, Ohio. And if the world ended, then, you know, I was right, so I had some, you know, comfort in feeling that, like, okay, and I called it, you know, we have a big party, and the world ends. And if it doesn't end, then we still win because we're still alive. We get to live another day. So anyway, we have this camp out. Things going great, and we decided that we should try to take a canoe from the canoe rental area and drift down the river a little bit.
I don't want you to say they had some silly jackass from Ohio went around there laughing like a hyena. I don't mean it that way at all.
Is this at night? Or?
Yes, this is like 3 a.m. Everybody's sleeping. It's very quiet. So we get up to the main entrance there where they keep the canoes and the oars and whatnot.
So you're sneaking in to borrow them for the night, or?
Yeah, well, we weren't really planning on taking the canoe back after we dropped it off. We were just going to leave it where we pulled it off, and then figured that someone would see it and it would make its way back. That was the idea.
Use your laser.
Now the canoe's easy because they always keep canoes out and they're not really locked down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but the oar was a problem. We couldn't find the oars. We think they were in a locked garage and stuff like that. So that took a little doing. We ended up finding some brooms, just your standard, you know, whisk brooms. So we get the canoe ready on the edge of the river, and we have stuff in there, and we're looking at the river, and it's up a little, and no light. I think there was a moon.
Full.
Yeah. So I think we could see fine, but so. The background that I didn't give at the beginning is that I am not a good swimmer and barely can even float. Yes, and I don't know what I was thinking, you know, getting up to that point, because I'm sure I was fairly scared of the prospect. We have the canoe there. It's pointing into the water. I get in first. And then Todd's going to push it in and then jump in afterwards. And so I'm in. He pushes in. He pushes off. We make it out about 5 feet before because when he jumped in, he was a little unstable. So he ends up flipping the canoe as soon as we get in. And we both go in.
So the water wasn't over your head at that
not
point.
at that point. Not at that point. I was able to, stand up pretty easily, and it wasn't that fast, so it didn't carry me down. But that kind of woke me up, and then we said, okay, this is a bad idea, and we pulled it back out. I threw the broom in, and really, then we're soaked and we have to go back and. But the reason the story sticks into my head is because that was an end of the world celebration, and all that it would have taken at that moment is if he didn't flip it when he did. If we would have gotten out to the middle of that, I am almost 100% confident that because there wasn't light enough for him to really save me. Right? There wasn't. I didn't have an oar to hold on to, and. I surely would have died that night. When people talked about the end of the world, and I still to this day like end of the world usually doesn't mean just the end of the world. Like everything's not just snuffed out. It's usually end of the world as you know it kind of thing. So maybe that means everyone dies. Maybe that means everything changes, or maybe that means things just aren't the same as it was. But yeah, if I would have died that night, that would have been two things. It would have been the end of the world for me, and it would have been an end of the world as they know it for all the friends, having one of their good friends die being stupid.
I don't know why, but never have so many lived so well so far behind before, and they're all trying to be the richest guy in the cemetery.
Every time it's May 5th, every time there's an end of world scenario, anytime I'm reflective, like that goes back. So I don't know. Maybe it's the way I think, but like part of me died that day. Like in one reality, like there is no Dan. There was one. Can't remember the one philosopher who was getting chased down by a car in the street. Like someone was trying to run him down, and they said, at that moment, that's when they really felt alive, and they finally felt that something is happening to me. I talk about that kind of stuff with my wife and stuff, and people usually, like, their first instinct is like, oh, this guy he's not happy with where he is, or something's wrong with his life. Nothing's wrong. It's just maybe it's just nice to imagine, like, there's just change, and you have a new chance to make a difference or exceed or figure things out.
A new beginning.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. This is Story Flakes.